So today in the Marvel world, in the real world, we got, in my opinion, the coolest possible cast announcement drop from any studio ever. And of course, it was Marvel. It was literally a 5 hour, 27 minute, and 52 second live stream of just chairs. And it couldn't have been more hyped. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just us comic book superhero Marvel nerds or if it's everybody, but I was so hyped up for this live stream. And it was literally just chairs. It was the simplest thing. Whoever thought of that idea at Marvel or Disney or whatever marketing firm, YouTube, I don't know, who knows. Whoever thought of that idea needs a raise. That was the coolest thing they could have possibly done. So, this 5 hour, 27 minute, 52 second video, they go from one chair every like 12 to 13 to 15 to 20 minutes. They move to the next chair, and each chair has a name on the back of it until you get to the very last one. And this entire row, this enormous row of chairs, of individuals, couldn't be cooler. There was not a single mediocre name on this list. There was not a single person where I was like, oh, what? Every single one of them I was super duper hyped for. In my opinion, it seems like we have officially entered the Marvel Renaissance, the rebirth of Marvel movies, in my opinion. So, after 5 hours, 27 minutes, and 52 seconds, I think it's time for us to summarize this to give you guys a little TLDR of everything. Now, this announcement comes for Avengers Doomsday. It is the official cast announcement, and it was, I don't know, just everything about it was awesome. And it was just a big empty studio building. I'm 100% sold on it. If they actually film in this studio that they made this in, I'll be even more hyped because that just makes it that much more authentic. It was pretty sick. So our first cast member, first cast announcement is Chris Hemsworth returning as Thor. You know, nobody else can really play Thor. Nothing wrong with Chris Hemsworth. Absolutely love the guy. I think he's a beautiful Thor. I don't know if anybody else could play Thor, to be completely honest. I don't know if anybody else can follow up his Thor. So that was exciting. Cool to see Thor returning for Doomsday. I feel like as cosmic as Doomsday sounds, it fits. It fits perfectly. Next, we got Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm in the Fantastic Four. She is coming to Avengers Doomsday. That's an exciting one. I'm not sure. I don't believe this movie's come out yet, so it's gonna be exciting to see what comes of it. Then we got Anthony Mackie as Captain America. Obviously, returning as Captain America. He hasn't been gone for long though, so regardless, amazing actor. Falcon, Captain America, brilliant. Can't wait to see it. And then we got Sebastian Stan returning as a Winter Soldier as well. Very cool. The metal arm, too cool. Yeah, I feel like you can't have an Avengers movie without the Winter Soldier. He's just too cool. Then we got Latita Wright returning as Shuri, aka the Black Panther. Quite possibly the most badass iteration of the Black Panther. Rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman, of course. And then we got Paul Rudd returning as Ant-Man. Very cool. Love Paul Rudd. Ant-Man. Absolute legend. Paul Rudd. Sexiest Man of the Year. One of the years. I don't remember what year, but it was recent. Then we got Wyatt Russell as John Walker. Of course, if you guys watched Falcon and the Winter Soldier, then you know very much who this man is. Brilliant actor. Can't wait to see it. And then we got this one. This one kind of threw me off a little bit. His name is Tanak Huerta Maya. Forgive me if I butchered that name. I apologize. I'm just a bearded white guy. He's returning as Namor, first seen in Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. This one was very interesting to me because it very much seemed like sort of a one-off situation. But if you watch that movie, they definitely sell him and his people as playing a bigger role, essentially, in the world. Then next we got Eben Moss Backrack, who is going to be playing the Thing in Fantastic Four. This one's an interesting pairing. He actually played He played Lieberman in The Punisher, the what originally started as a Netflix series with John Bernthal. Brilliant, by the way, John Bernthal. Beautiful Punisher. Can't imagine anybody else playing the Punisher after he played it. I'm super stoked to see him reprise his role in the upcoming Disney Plus series. Super excited for that. But Evan Ross Backrack as the Thing, actually, from Fantastic Four. Then we got, finally, this poor guy, Simu Liu gets to return as Shang-Chi. I was pleasantly surprised when I watched Shang-Chi because, we kind of had a little lull of Marvel movies that were kind of meh, and that's just my opinion, but Shang-Chi was a breath of fresh air in that meh lull. I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. I'm super excited to see him return in Avengers Doomsday. Then we got Florence Pugh returning as Yelena Belova, first seen in Black Panther, or I'm sorry, in Black Widow. Very excited to see her come back as well. Then we got Kelsey Grammer. This is the first big exciting one for me. Kelsey Grammer returning as Beast from X-Men, reprising his role as Beast from X-Men. I freaked out when I saw this because I'm a huge fan of the classic X-Men movies. They were kind of my introduction to Marvel as a powerhouse in cinema, and to see the classic X-Men, especially because they're still around. All the actors are still around, and they're in their prime, man. You can't beat that. I don't know if they were like in their 20s when they first filmed the original X-Men, but man, I'm so excited to see them come back. So that one was a big deal for me. Next, we got Lewis Pullman as Robert Reynolds, aka Sentry from Thunderbolts, which is an upcoming Marvel movie. He's also going to be in Avengers Doomsday. That was one of the cast announcements. Very exciting to see what comes of this. Not familiar with the actor, but I mean, it fits. He looks just like him. So I'm excited to see what comes of this. Then we got Danny Ramirez as Falcon. I believe this is going to be his first feature film as Falcon rather than a Disney Plus series. So it's going to be pretty cool. Again, if you're familiar with Falcon and the Winter Soldier, then you're familiar with him, his character. Next, we got Joseph Quinn as Johnny Storm from Fantastic Four. This one I'm pretty excited for. Joseph Quinn is from Stranger Things. He played Eddie, and Eddie was a badass. Joseph Quinn is a badass, and he portrays a badass. So I'm excited to see what he does with the role, and allegedly he's excited as well. Next, appropriately, we got David Harbour returning as Red Guardian. David Harbour, also from Stranger Things. Hopper, brilliant actor, phenomenal actor. I don't know what it is. I believe he's primarily focuses on theater. I think that does a lot, honestly. A lot of the really, really brilliant A-list actors that I've seen personally, I wouldn't even call them A-list, they're like S-tier actors, are stage actors originally, and then they do some film, and then I see them on film, and I'm like, whoa, where did this person come from? I've never heard of them. And then I look at them, and they've been on Broadway for like the past 30 years, and I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. So David Harbour returning as Red Guardian, absolute legend. Super stoked to see that. Next, we got Winston Duke returning as M'Baku, originally from Black Panther. This dude, again, plays a badass, is a badass, portrays a badass beautifully. I mean, it's when you're a badass and you're playing a badass, it's kind of hard to not be a badass. So I'm super stoked to see him come back as well. This was another interesting one for me because he kind of, I don't know, seemed maybe like a back burner character, and him coming back, he's got a bigger role to play. Plus, his costume is just too sick, man. Come on. Next, we got Hannah John Kamen returning as Ghost, first seen in Ant-Man. This one was also interesting to me, another potential back burner character that's coming out of nowhere. Super excited to see what they do with this. I feel like they're perfectly meshing together, and I mentioned this in my last Marvel video. it seemed like they kind of just cut it off, and then they were like, here's a bunch of new characters. You're supposed to care about them. And everyone was like, I don't know these people. I don't know these characters. I have no emotional attachment to them. How is this the next phase of the Marvel movies? And it makes sense, honestly. So to see them properly meshing these characters from previous films in order to kind of pass the torch off to the next set makes sense to me. And I would not be surprised if this was the Russo brothers doing. This is kind of their job coming back, and it makes sense to me. So excited to see them finally, in my opinion, as a random guy on YouTube, doing a good job. Not that my opinion matters. The Russo brothers are legends, so I'm sure that everything's in good hands. Next, we got Tom Hiddleston returning as Loki. Obviously, he was going to be in this movie. Loki's an absolute legend. Tom Hiddleston's an absolute legend. Can't wait to see what he does as Loki this time. And then finally, this was the next part. I freaked out when this happened. Absolutely freaked out. If you haven't seen it and you're unaware, you're going to freak out too, probably. Hopefully. This is the whole reason why I'm making a video. We got Patrick Stewart returning, reprising his role as Professor Charles Xavier, aka Professor X from X-Men. Absolute legend. Thoroughly excited. Freaked out when I heard about this, when I saw this. And it gets even better. Not only do we have Charles Xavier, we get Ian McKellen reprising his role as Eric Lensher, aka Magneto from X-Men. This one, these are like the cake toppers, and you're like, well, what do I care about the cake toppers if the cake sucks? The cake doesn't suck. Are you ready for the cake? Nightcrawler. Alan Cumming reprising his role as Nightcrawler from the original X-Men. It gets even better. The icing, Rebecca Roman reprising her role as Mystique from the original X-Men. Are you ready for more icing? Maybe some sprinkles or something? A little bit fancy. James Marsden reprising his role as Scott Summers, aka Cyclops from X-Men. The X-Men are entering the Marvel Cinematic Universe, guys. It's happening. We get Beast. We get Professor X. We get Magneto. We get Nightcrawler. We get Mystique. We get Scott Summers. It's time, man. It's freaking time. I'm so stoked. Let's bring it down a notch. Next, we got Channing Tatum returning as Gambit. Super stoked for Channing Tatum. Played a brilliant Gambit in Deadpool versus Wolverine. So I'm excited to see him finally get that part. I know he's been looking for it for forever, so good on him for, sticking to it. And he deserves it. He really does. He did a good job. Then we got Pedro Pascal, brilliant actor, as Reed Richards, a.k.a. Mr. Fantastic in the Fantastic Four. Reed Richards. I gotta clear my throat. I got a little excited. And then, last but not least, the man of the hour, the last cast member, to be officially announced for Avengers Doomsday is none other than Robert Downey Jr. himself as Victor Von Doom, aka Doctor Doom. And the way that they set this up, everyone knew that, Robert Downey Jr. was going to play Doctor Doom, obviously. And clearly, he's going to be in Avengers Doomsday. That would be silly to assume that he wasn't. But the way that they set it up in this video, I'm sure you guys don't want to sit through 5.5 hours. I was glad to. The way that they set it up, I'm just going to click through it really quick because the framing is really cool. The door opens. Mind you, it's been 5.5 hours of just this dark studio and switching these chairs. And then there's a figure. Look, there's a figure entering the frame. And he walks, and you can see him. And he enters, and then he sits down, and they zoom out, and they show his name. And he goes, oh, I'm going to play it. I'm going to push play. He goes, oh, shoot. Right here. He goes, shh. And then he gets up. And he walks away. Oh, my gosh, it was so good. And then the music swells up. and it crescendos, and you get the title card. Oh, it was so good. It was so good, man. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate you for tuning in and watching me gush about this silly movie and these silly, superhero characters. So, uh, I have full faith in the Russo brothers, and I'm super excited for this movie. 1000% going to see in theaters. Probably going to see every Marvel movie leading up to in theaters as well because of how hyped I am for this movie. So, thank you guys for sticking around. If you liked the video, smash the like button, consider subscribing, and I'll see y'all next time.